Wake that ass up.
Early in the morning.
The Breakfast Club.
Morning, everybody. It's DJ MV Angela Yee, Charlamagne the Guy. We are the Breakfast Club. We got a special guest in the building.
The legendary.
E-double Erick Sermon.
Put some respect on my name.
One half of EPMD. You know what's so
right.
crazy? I got to salute my man DJ D Nice from South Carolina. For the past 3 weeks, he's been asking me for That Girl record from Erick Sermon. He's like, yo, you know somebody that know Eric? I need a clean version of That Girl.
Oh, thanks.
That Girl. And I was like,
That's dope.
he's actually coming up in a couple weeks.
That's good. I like that. That's good.
Nah, he's a DJ down there. He want to play it. He was like, yo, I told him he was coming up here. He was like, he texted me yesterday. Yo, please get That Girl record for me.
I've been waiting for so many years to get to the show, and I didn't want to be like just to become because y'all was my friends. I wanted to have something. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is iHeart. This is way out there. This is syndicated.
E said, I can't believe I'm here. E, we know you.
Nah,
you know us, E.
But still, Envy used to be at my house when you was making tapes,
right?
and then you was doing albums, and I was helping you as a friend.
The first mansion I ever seen was Erick Sermon's.
Yeah,
Wow.
With a tennis court.
But listen, he played me.
In
I
the
heard
pool.
that. I heard that session. He was like, the biggest house I ever saw was Erick Sermon, so I got one.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Wow.
So
So I got one.
So I got
Okay.
one. Exactly. You didn't have to do all that. I mean,
You inspired me. I mean, I never knew a
It was a
black
shot.
person.
It was a shot.
It was no shot.
So you trying to say your house is bigger than his?
It's big. It's big. It's bigger than mine.
I didn't say that.
In the beginning, it looked like it was because I had a tennis court with a pool and the whole
Wow.
night. It looked like
I never seen a black person with a tennis court.
That's
and a pool,
amazing.
and a huge
Yeah, okay.
crib in Long Island
Yeah.
Gate. It was
And so
crazy.
but you
Gay.
had no problem helping Envy, even though he
did.
was brand new.
Nah, I did 2 records on there. Matter of fact, Styles P record
and the Redman record.
and Redman record on his album.
That's really
What
nice.
did you see in Envy? Because you got a good eye for talent. So what
Right.
did you see in Envy?
He knew what the record sounded like. He knew that if a record was good or not. Like
Gotcha,
you could
gotcha.
tell that the way he was doing the beat selection though, it was right, God. It was like he knew that this beat was cool. The ones that he was picking from other people to make the album sound cohesive together.
Now, was you on radio then at the time?
I was not on radio at the
No.
time. I was still doing mixtapes. I got a deal to do an album, and I needed production. And Erick Sermon was charging like $150,000
No, I was-
a beat at that time.
Damn.
No,
And
I
you
had it like that?
And he
Envy,
did
you
it for
had that
me.
money?
He did it for me.
No.
for-
Back then, no, for real. That's what the prices were. You know,
Right.
Timbaland and them was doing. I mean, I was in maybe in the 60, 70 range, but that range was for some people was hundreds and 120, 150.
Right, for a
You know,
beat.
they was getting it. Labels had it.
So you charged him?
No.
He did it. He
Wow.
did it on the arm, and he really helped me out when I was trying to do my project. We didn't really have much money back then for a lot of stuff. So he did a couple.
Even though he was on a major
He got me
label, though.
Redman,
He was
got
on a
me
major
all the
label.
So he had some type of budget.
Well, they didn't give it to him, but he made a label though.
Did Envy pay it forward once he got on the radio? Did he still support Erick Sermon?
To
and
this
what Erick
day,
Sermon was
right
doing?
now, no matter what goes on, if I didn't see him, no matter what, the love is still there.
But did he support Erick?
Yes, I
course.
did. But
Oh, yeah,
just
of
like
course.
music
Okay,
came
okay,
out, I
of course.
supported
Yeah,
it.
he did.
When all these records came out, I supported it.
I would have got him though. Definitely. I would have been like, yo, when I dropped, but I didn't drop none in 15 years, so you're right.
Just like music with the
Yeah.
last
All right, so let's go through some Erick Sermon history, though. We got to.
Yeah, the React you supported too. That
React,
came
yep.
out the next year, so
Yep.
you did. 2002
You
was the
did
last one,
support.
Charlamagne.
All right, so let's go through some history because I know we had some of our interns in the room that are like, okay, let's find out who Erick Sermon is. So let's talk EPMD and talk about how you got to where you are with a new solo album out. But let's start at the beginning of Erick Sermon.
Well, again, I was from a place called Brentwood, Long Island, which is Puerto Rican, really.
deep out there.
If I didn't know that the Puerto Rican Day Parade was started in Fifth Avenue, I didn't think Manhattan had one.
Yeah,
I never knew that the city had the Puerto Rican Day Parade. I thought Brentwood made it up. No lie. Because the amount of Puerto Ricans that lived where we was at. So I grew up with that and whites together. So that's why EPMD, we knew about ZZ Top. Because ZZ Top, you're a customer of ZZ Top. Cheap sunglasses. I'm just letting the world know now, so they can't come and get me now. It's too late to come get me. But
There's a statute of limitations on samples?
well, they can't come get me now. I mean, they would have to go to Def Jam, to Priority, Snoop, and they had to go through all that to try to do all that. But at the time, I knew all these records. You know, Charlie Daniels Band and The Who and Van Halen. I had all this mixed in. So on my albums, you would hear David Bowie. You would hear, you know, Joe Tex. You would hear, you know, Phil Collins. You would hear all this because of the type of where I grew up at.
I also think radio back then played all of that because we didn't have like a lot of different choices.
That's true. That's true.
Because I know all those songs
Not
too.
WBLS though.
Yeah.
And like that. Again, we all waited for the nighttime come for the 2 hours we had.
You had to wait because
So
we didn't have a whole station.
Exactly.
Mr. Magic.
Magic or either Red Alert.
Red Alert.
So either one, we waiting for them to come on. But other than that, I moved from one neighborhood, which was hip hop, to Parrish's neighborhood, which was also Brentwood, but another part of Brentwood. And I met Parrish on the bus, and this is the illest thing. I had on some fake Pumas, but I didn't know they wasn't baskets. I thought they was the regular Pumas, but they didn't have the holes in them. So Parrish snapped on me, like, "Yo, look at his sneakers."
Yeah.
He didn't know me from Adam, but he's also 6'2" too. You know, I'm 40 pounds lighter at the time, but he's also just like me, a big dude too. So I had to say, do I get at him because I'm new, or do I just keep quiet because I don't know him? You know, so I kept quiet. So after a while, get off the bus, he knew that I rhymed. I had a rhyme called Jane. Jane was my first rap that ended up being on EPMD's album. That was my first rhyme.
Wow.
So Parrish used to let me rhyme that, not let me, but have me rhyme that to his friends. Like, check out my man, he rhymed. Even though I had a strong lisp, but Parrish felt that I can make it with him in the studio. So he used to work at Intiman's Bakery across the street. So we took the Intiman's Bakery money and we spent it on the studio, which is Charlamagne, which was like $30 an hour.
So he clowned you on the bus, but when y'all got off the bus, he asked you to rap.
Right.
And then when you rapped, he stopped clowning you because like, he respected your rhymes.
So then he was a DJ. Parrish didn't rhyme. So after that, we made our first demo, took it back to the hood. The hood said, take the guitars out or you a customer. Because again, the ZZ Top was loud.
Right.
Took the guitars out. Usually the hood I hate, but someone was keeping it fair. So we took those out, and then we looked on the album covers that was in our houses, got addresses, and then we went to go shop. And
Oh, wow.
So we shopped from the addresses that was on. We went to,
So you were like, those are the record labels because you see the address used to be on there.
We went to Atlantic. When we went to maybe Sony, then we went to Independent, which was Fresh Records that had Mantronics on the time at the time. The young people don't know about that, but and Just Dice was on there too. So that was a cool label that we stopped by, and next thing you know, they called us back 3 weeks later, and we got on.
Things don't happen like that nowadays.
When did Parrish start rapping? He said he was a DJ first.
Yeah, he rapped when he heard me rap and wanted to make the group.
That's interesting because I would think that you was the guy doing the beats and then you rapped later.
No, I didn't have no money like that.
Okay.
Parrish had a DJ equipment. He had his brother was in a crew called the Rock Squad, which was with him and K Solo was in a group with his brother first. So he knew K Solo first before K got down with the Hit Squad. So, but that was Parrish's already had like an in to knowing how to do a record. You know what I'm saying? So he knew that with the lisp and the type of rhymes I had, that it would be cool to be on the record. So he'd be believing it.
So what made you start doing beats? Because you was broke and you needed something to rap over?
Nah, I didn't do beats until 91.
Wow.
See, in 88, we had an engineer that was in the studio that was helping us named Charlie. We didn't have sampling machines then, though, Charlamagne. We didn't have none of that. When we say we looped a record, we would take a 1/4-inch tape and loop it around the room, around the chair, around the pencil, and then record it back to 1/2-inch to make a loop.
You confused the hell out of Charlamagne right now.
That's like in
I've
Bohemian
heard that before. I've
Rhapsody.
never seen it, but I've heard about it before.
But when they say really loop the record, we really looped a record around the room to record, to get a 5-minute loop to make that. And that's how EPMD made records. And we made records on one mic with 8 tracks, and we would do this, like side to side. We wouldn't go and do each track. We only had 8, so we had to save it. So to save it is to do this, I move over here, rap, move over here, rap. So we rapped on one mic at one time.
These kids do not know how good they got it.
Not at all.
Do you miss that?
I think it was really, really fun because we thought that Run DMC did it. Don't forget, we Run DMC. Don't forget, EPMD and Run DMC. This is, the logo. Leo made sure we was almost the same.
Yeah.
So I thought it was, me and Parrish didn't know we was producers. We thought everybody who had a record made their own music. We would never came out.
Right.
When we was doing It's My Thing, it was just straight. So the label called Special K and Teddy Ted to come and help us put a chorus in. So when it goes, ka-tika, bam, 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 we never knew about no horn and how to do a chorus to a bridge. Teddy Ted helped us with that. Once I saw that, then I went berserk. I knew how to make a chorus.
Now, is it true that back then you didn't read any of the contracts? You just signed and didn't know
Me and
what you
Paris
signed?
signed for $750 a piece.
Whoa.
I went to Marshall's and I went to the grocery store.
Oh my
Who did that
God.
deal? Who y'all signed to?
I was 17. I was Fresh Records.
Fresh
Yeah.
Records.
But don't forget that I'm
No lawyer or
ain't
nothing,
No
just
lawyer, no
sign.
nothing. We
Yeah.
happy. We want to get on. But I got $750 cash in my hand. I'm like, holy, this is incredible.
Right.
So I went to Marshall's because Marshall you can get
Cheap
some
stuff.
Like
and
Polo and all that
You
stuff.
got
Yeah.
fresh.
And I went to the grocery store. Got my mother some groceries.
You guys remember your first shows that you did?
My first show was with Chuck Chill Out at the Stardust Ballroom. EPMD, Public Enemy, Super Lover, C-Cast Nova Rudd, Big Daddy Kane, and Biz Markie.
That's a big first show to do.
Yep, and
Never
the
heard
club.
any of those guys.
Yeah, stop it.
Never.
Yeah, Stardust Ballroom. And me and Paris are stiff as a board. We didn't know how to rock. We didn't know about movement and nothing like that. And then Super Lover C, Duty James is tearing the crowd to pieces. Everybody, Biz Markie brings out Kane for that.
Oh, forget it.
But it's the rap promoter.
And he probably had dances and everything.
Well, Kane didn't need, he was just dip.
Right.
You know, the mock neck, Kango hat, Bally's. Never seen that before in person.
So I'm assuming Fresh Records been eating off you for the past 30, 40 years. If
What happened
they
was
give you a 20 album deal for $750.
Will Sokoloff, you know Will. He's the one that signed Jay-Z and all them too after a while. But Ron Resnick, God bless the dead, and Juggy Gales, the two father and son, they the one that ruined the company. Because when EPMD, we had 2 #1 albums on the, in that label.
For $750.
And then Def Jam came and got us for $1.7 million. Because Leo and them had to audit them because they knew something wasn't wrong. And they wanted to manage us. You know what I'm saying? So they got us off the deal.
And then you signed a Def Jam.
Right.
Did you ever get any royalties? I know you didn't. But did you, from Fresh Records?
I never seen a royalty from Def Jam.
You never seen a royalty?
Oh,
Oh my
shit.
God.
Not from Def Jam either?
Nah, you don't forget, my thing was I was a producer, so I saw money on me having advances, and I sampled too much to get. There was nothing to give. There was, we sampled everything. We would have 5 or 6 samples in one record. So me and Redman, we got paid $500,000 maybe 8 years later after Warner Chappell had to do some type of deal with George Clinton and them. But other than that, you didn't see that money. My money came from advances.
So, but you created a label after EPMD came out, and you created Hit Squad.
Hit Squad wasn't a label though, was it?
No, it was more like
company?
it was a production company. Yes,
Production company. Now, with the production company, you had Redman, you had K Solo,
and DOS Effects.
and DOS Effects. Now, you ate off those because you produced them. They were your artists, right?
Yeah, all of that. I said the money was heavy because of me getting the advances.
Getting a good advance,
from Sylvia,
right.
from Def Jam, from whatever. Those what I ate off. But as far as you seeing the royalty, I don't know. Nobody can say that can see the royalty. Michael Jackson didn't see 50 Cent neither. Nobody really. That money came from someplace else. Them contracts had never been for you, ever.
But before we get to the Hit Squad though, you and EPMD, you and Paris did have a breakup at one point.
Right.
A couple times.
A couple times, yeah.
Well, we broke up the big one time, but the other ones was just like, just not really taking shows because, again, the money just wasn't right for the East Coast rappers. I don't want to put nobody's business out there, but we don't get the same type of money that the West Coast rappers get. Short, Q, Snoop and them, they triple us in money.
But those guys were selling way more records too though, right?
It doesn't matter, though, but you can't be from 80,000 down to 10. That's a big jump.
Yeah.
That's how much we was jumping. Run DMC get paid $200,000 now, $250. So how do I'm $20,000 all I get from $250?
Yeah.
This is where we at now. So at the end of the day, the stuff wasn't right. So I wasn't trying to put my brand out there for those that make money off of touring. Don't forget I had deals. So that my money really didn't come from me on that stage like that. I really didn't see it.
Yeah, don't do that again, bro.
I keep it. I watch y'all too.
That's gonna be a meme. They're gonna make a gift for that.
No, the meme is gonna come when you said it.
So what made y'all break up? What was it? The money y'all just didn't want to do it because it wasn't enough money, or was he mad?
No. The breakup came from the whole thing about me saying I robbed the crib.
Yeah, they said you set him up or something like that.
Because when I did get arrested, and they locked me up, when I got out, I went to Georgia. I wasn't having them come and get me here. I was like, if they saying I did something true, I'm not gonna sit here and wait for nobody to to put something on me, I'm gone. So I jetted to Atlanta.
Why would they think you robbed the crib when you was making all that money?
Because these guys, I wasn't making no money. EPMD, I was broke.
Yeah.
You know, but we was the biggest squad ever. But everybody wasn't right. Nobody wasn't. I didn't have it.
So what did you learn in Atlanta when you moved to Atlanta?
And why would they think it was you that did that?
Because they had signed statements saying that they that 3 guys had signed statements saying it was me.
Wow.
They had put signs. So with signed statements, you're gonna believe them. But that was not true. You know.
I was gonna tell you, I just got your text. He said, I left my house at 6 a.m. barking. Traffic is crazy. It's saying 9 a.m. Do I still come and reschedule? That's 9 a.m. at the time, man. You got it on time?
Yeah.
So, okay, hold on. So they said you robbed the house, right? And you said you weren't making no money, but was you on Def Jam at the time? Was this the Def Jam EPMD era?
Yeah, you gotta understand. Like everybody, you can't have 2 presidents. So one got to do the right thing. You know, if you got sound with somebody got to do the right thing and make sure you're okay.
Yeah.
But if it was my fault or his or whatever, but I wasn't on my job, and evidently people was like, yo, something ain't right, you know, so it happens. Financial happens to every group. It happens to.
Who do you hold accountable for that? Because, I mean, you got a guy like Russell's at Def Jam. He's black, so you would think he would be looking out for y'all in some way, shape, or form.
Only one looked out for me was Bert Padell. He was the one that made sure that I was okay, and Leo Cohen.
Really?
You know, it wasn't, you know, Leo was like, yo, you know, what's up with, you know, with Erick, you know, why he's not in these things that's going on, why he's not, you know, they just figured that I was always a quiet one. I always said nothing. I just was following what I had to do. I made the songs, I never asked for a budget or extra money, nothing ever in my life, and no label did I ask for over studio, anything, nothing.
Do you have
by the books.
Do you have any regrets about business decisions that you made, not knowing what you could have been doing or should have been doing back then?
Being young, you know, we
like in retrospect,
we
you
can
like,
watch
man,
the stars. You know, it's a whole book on everybody who didn't do right. You know,
Right.
I wish that again. Maybe I would have knew more about controlling more of my finances. Because the thing was, you come out, business management, business accountant, whatever you know how it goes. It was the routine of this what you did.
And they all robbed.
And everybody got. I remember I gave a check for $800,000 one time to a management company in Atlanta called Johnson Management.
Ooh.
I gave them $800. It came from Irvin Azar, which is the president of Live Nation. He had a label called Giant Records. He gave me $800,000. I gave it to my accountant, and next thing you know, 2 months later, they was gone.
Really? They just stole the money.
They was gone.
God damn!
Oh
Did you ever run into them in the future?
No, but they got it was me, a TLC, a few of them that was on there that they ran off with money with, but mine was a big check. So then 2001, Uncle Sam found me.
How can these checks be cashed if they made out to you though in your
Gave
company?
them
He
over,
gave it
signed
to
over
them.
to them. They were
Signed
business
over to them.
management.
Business management.
Why?
Yeah. What you did, Charlamagne, certain things you did.
You thought they were going to invest it in
and you probably got
No. You give them to as your accountant too.
Right.
You know,
So they're supposed to help you pay your bills, manage your money.
taxes, and then put the rest in the bank.
Yikes!
and then Uncle Sam came for you because they didn't pay the taxes, so then you had to pay
Uncle
that money.
Sam had to came for me, and next thing you know, it was like, again, don't forget this is what Uncle Sam is. Uncle Sam is just, as far as all the what's the thing when you build up.
Equity?
No, when you
interest.
interest. So that's what Uncle Sam is. They get you on that. So whatever your bill might be, it'll be interest to go up. It'll be $2 million by the time you look around. A couple
How much
years.
did your Uncle Sam?
1.8.
God damn!
So it was more than just that 800,000.
Yeah, because
Interest.
The interest.
And they ain't paid nobody. And they ain't paid. So all the checks
They
that you
ain't
cut
paid
that you
nobody.
gave them, they ain't paid
No,
nobody.
that one particular. Don't forget, when I got from EPMD, I moved to Georgia. So then I got a whole new business plan over there. So
What made you move to Georgia? Like, because at
the
that
breakup.
time, New York was popping. Like, East Coast music was so big.
Man, I was going to jail.
You're trying to avoid that tax evasion.
I was trying to before I was going to jail. If
For the robbery
yeah,
shit.
exactly.
Yeah.
That's what I left after that.
And you never had to go to jail for that.
No,
What about taxes? Did you ever get your taxes paid off? Clearly.
I didn't have tax problems at the time.
Right.
But I had regular stuff. I didn't have no money for.
I think you mean
What
now,
a
you know, take care of it now,
1.8
yeah.
you owe?
Yeah, I had to pay it.
Jeez.
Man.
Not all of it.
Yeah.
Because they get you could take off they say, okay, we take off 600, we take off whatever. Not all of it, they caught me for it. But I had to pay it.
So to hear that Leo was looking out for you, when you hear the people say Leo's a culture vulture, I'm sure you don't like that.
It doesn't. I mean, that's people's opinion.
Mm-hmm.
I just know what he did for
Your
he did for me
experience wasn't that.
Wasn't that? Nah.
Mm-hmm.
No.
Now, how did you resolve the situation where you were accused of this robbery, didn't do it? How did you guys end up resolving that so that you made
No. We 87. Biggie Smalls had Tupac died, and then Biggie died. So we like, yo, this is messed up. So Dice got us on the phone. That's the Redman DJ now got us on the phone. We talked. And we just started, we hashed out. Because again, we young too. We young. Stuff is crazy. His squad is big. We left at Headbanger. Like we was on top. And so when people come into play and people got their hands in it, we don't know. We be young, so stuff got messed up.
Mm-hmm.
It was kind of dope when y'all broke up though, because if it wasn't for the breakup, you probably wouldn't have started Hit Squad.
If it wasn't for the breakup, I wouldn't have been me.
You wouldn't have gone
as
solo?
far as me going so far, I think as far as a producer and me being able to do what I did after EPMD, that right there, I'm not mad about. Like you said before, would you regret? No, because I became Erick Sermon after the group broke up.
Right.
How did y'all hook up with DJ Scratch? Shout out to DJ Scratch. He's from Brooklyn. Y'all from Long Island.
Jam
How'd
Master
y'all get with
Jay
Scratch?
hooked us up.
Really?
We was in London. Our DJ left us.
Who was the DJ?
You guys had all kinds of...
I know all kinds of problems. He just left.
Where's y'all moving? God damn.
well, his name is DJ 45 now.
Okay.
DJ 45?
Yeah, Caleb Boy. That was our first DJ.
4545?
Yeah.
Okay, shout out to 45.
Why he left y'all?
It was something happened personal. Whatever. He
Who
left
beat
us
up
out
who?
there.
Somebody beat up somebody?
Nah, it was personal. I never got the real story, but I heard it was personal.
Okay, so it didn't have nothing to do with you.
Nah,
You
but
didn't care? You didn't ask? Hey, man.
nah, I was too young for that. So I went along with the program. And we was overseas, and Jam Master Jay Scratch had just won that battle, whatever the competition. And then Jay said, yo, I got a DJ for you. And then he brought Scratch to us, and that was it.
And when you split, when EPMD split, how did that work with Def Jam? Like, did they say, okay, we're going to sign you as a solo artist?
Man, that Russell and them came to Long Island so many times in that BMW that was crashed up, parking in everybody's driveway, trying to get that to going. Because don't forget, we was kind of feeding that label. EPMD and Redman, we was feeding that label. They wanted to know when we getting back together and forget all this bull crap, what's going on. And they was, Russell was crying,
Yeah, that's a big deal.
But we was that was a hit they was gonna take. But then, the Redman album drop put them back in effect a little bit. You know what I'm saying? So they was kind of like, then when that went on, whatever else happened, they had a merger, got whatever the RAL deal, got them some more money. And then they was able to. Then Domino came.
Now, how did the artists decide if they were going with you or Paris? Like, how did they decide? Like,
Yeah, Dots Effects was saying that too. They was wondering why I didn't call them back. But I never got the phone call for them. But I knew that Redman. I put them on.
So Redman went with you. Dots Effects went with Paris.
I know that Dots we put out together.
Keith Murray went with you.
Right, that was it. But Keith came later, so he was getting ready to come out. But that was it. That was Red was coming because I signed him.
How did you discover Redman?
At Club Sensations in Newark, New Jersey. He was with Do It All from Lords of the Underground.
Shout out to Do It All.
And he was they was in the back. They got backstage somehow in the dressing room, and Do It All was rapping, and he said, "My homeboy rap," and that's when I heard Reggie.
And he was he was.
I put him on stage that night.
Really?
People was like, "Yo, what is he doing up there?" Like, people fans, but I heard him say a couple of lines. I'm like, "Yo, you should come rock with me." Put him on stage that night.
Did you sign up for $750?
Nah, I was on Def Jam. Then Def Jam had money. Def Jam was. Def Jam was giving out them checks.
Yeah.
It was.
How hard was it to sell an artist like Redman to them at the time? Like, did they just trust you?
He got turned down twice. If it wasn't for Q-Tip telling Big D and Leo that, yo, this guy's really good. Because Leo was like, oh, he sound like Erick a little bit. You know what I mean? So,
Huh?
Yeah.
Not even close.
I know, but that's what they said. And
He was the filthiest. Redman was the filthiest back then.
And Big D was at Rush Management then, and then somehow Q-Tip had walked in and was like, yo, that guy crazy. Because he had seen him at the, heard him on the Bismarck Key Monticello tape, whatever that was going around. Like, nah, this kid's buzzing around. But Q-Tip secured it for him.
Wow.
Yeah, I heard Redman on Drink Champs, and he didn't know he got turned down twice.
He's saying that though, but
He don't remember. He probably was
Salute to
smoking
Nori,
weed, didn't know.
yeah.
What was
I said that too.
What was EPMD's relationship like with other big hip hop artists at the time? Like I know Erick B and Rakim,
Yeah, but
There were
we had
issues.
beef with mostly everybody.
Big Daddy Kane.
You had beef with everybody?
Like why? What was?
I don't know. I know the Big Daddy Kane, him and Paris recently talked about that too, because Kane was like, you know, he felt that in crossover that was about him. You know,
Was it?
we was talking about anybody who was crossing over. You know,
It's about a lot of people.
it was
then.
about whoever wasn't doing what we thought that was good. But Rakim beef came. I was talking to Nas one day, not knowing that Nas was gonna put the whole me and his combo on a song, because his Rakim story came from me.
What you mean?
The story of Rakim.
Right.
I remember that. What album was that? Screech Disciple, maybe? I don't remember.
I went to the studio with him and LES, and I was gonna do a session, and we just got to talking. But Rakim had, I ain't no joke, you know, and like a diggum smack, and then he said, you can get a smack for this. I ain't no joke. So Paris came back, you a customer. The next year we come out with like a diggum smack. You smack me and I smack you back. So that whole thing went to the hoods. Because again, we Long Island is Wyandanch and Brentwood is 2 towns away. So that was where the beef came from. And it was heavy. When I mean heavy, I was in Bert Padell's one day surrounded by Preem, Erick B, Amp Live, and a couple other queens. I think 50 Cent. And I
50
thought
was there too?
I thought I wasn't going to make it.
No, you just.
In the original.
Oh, the
50.
original 50
Yeah,
Cent.
not
Oh,
that
yeah,
50 Cent.
yeah.
You said you didn't think he was gonna make it?
Nah.
So what happened?
Did you jump out a window?
No, it looked like I was going out of a window.
That was a lot of years later.
How'd you get out the situation?
There you go. Some Paris came up. For some reason, it came up in the exact time and came up. And then File Leader came out. Brother said, Dickum, I never duck him, become the File Leader because I was drunk. I'm like, yo, we got beef with Rakim. Like, he's making another record. Like, there's no way we're going to. And he's my mentor to me.
Yeah.
The reason why I'm rapping is because
Y'all from Long
of
Island.
Erick B from President. Exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
When I heard that, I lost my mind. So I'm like, we battling for hoods to start this beef, not us. So it was a club called The Building in Manhattan. And there was somebody was performing there that night, and Rakim was there. So Paris went to the bar. They was talking. By the time the club was out, you know, we squashed the beef.
Thank
But
God.
that beef was heavy.
Were you mad at Nas for making the unauthorized
Nah.
biography of
Rakim was mad at Nas for that though, but not me.
Really? So Rakim didn't feel like he was paying homage in no way.
I don't know what happened. I just know that again, I was telling him that story. Next thing you know, it's on the record.
Yeah. So behind the scenes, next thing you know.
You also discovered Keith Murray. What was it about him that drew you to him? Because I'd never forget Hostile. Because of y'all, I was trying to walk around with razor blades in my goddamn mouth.
Yeah, Keith Murray. I don't know why are we going back so far with this stuff. This is
Because a lot of people don't know.
This your
they don't
first
know
time
the
here.
history.
I know, but
It's your
y'all,
first time here.
y'all be having interesting stories though. This stuff is like.
This is
These are
interesting,
great
man.
stories.
It's not interesting to you, but it's interesting to us.
Yeah, what Keith Murray was around the way. He kept telling Solo, "Bring me by Erick's house," and Solo wouldn't bring him. So one day he strong armed Solo. One day, like not really strong, but like, yo, let's go to Erick's house. So I took him to my house, and again, I'm downstairs. I had a little room where I had my equipment at.
This is the same house Envy came to.
No,
Okay.
this is my first crib, and Murray started rhyming again, 4 bars. I'm like, yo, let's go to the studio, start rocking. So then I used to play Murray's, cassettes to everybody. Like, he's all right, he's getting better, Like I was second guessing myself, kind of like, what do you mean? I know this is different, but they're not giving it to me. And Redman Duffy ain't giving it to me, because
Redman wasn't feeling Keith?
well, not like that because he didn't come out yet,
Got you.
and he's already kind of not feeling it because Dots Effects came first too. So he was signed first. Dots was signed second, but Dots came before him.
Right.
But Murray Hostile was it.
Man.
And Russell was real angry because I signed him to Drive.
Good job, right?
But Leo Cohen didn't like Murray. So I thought like, okay, well damn, if Leo don't like him, then I'm not taking him to Def Jam. Russell was like, I would have never shot the video with Brett Ratton if I felt that, I wasn't gonna sign him. So we went to Jive, and Clive called that came from Africa. That was big. You know, that man had to come from over to sign Murray. You know, but he was in that meeting.
Whose idea was it to when he did the video on the Benz? When he was standing on the Benz and he was rapping
On the Lexus.
On the Lexus.
Yeah,
on the Lexus.
I gave him that car. I had got that car that I gave it to him. Well, I had to give it to him because after he stepped on it, he dented it, so I gave it to him.
Do you enjoy being behind the scenes and being a producer and working with these artists and developing them more than being an artist yourself?
Behind the scenes is always the dopest. G. Like again, I did the shows because it was something you had to do to go along with the territory. But people know me. I've always been a homeboy. Mm-hmm. Always been a person who was what they call an introvert like that. But that's just me. I like the whatever. But I like doing the music and making the artists, making the beat.
Did Def Jam ever trust you? Because they turned down Redman twice. They didn't like Keith Murray.
Did Def Jam trust me because
with artists, like was there ever a guy or a girl you bought in there who was like, yo, I want that?
No matter what, Def Jam, whatever, Kevin Lyles and them knew that whatever it was, I'm going to do right and I'm going to make a nice record. Mm-hmm. Like I never went there and bombed. I never really, you know, whatever they asked me to do, I did it. Whatever artists they had, I produced them all. Charlamagne, it was down from Warren to Jay to Red and Meth to Ja Rule, whatever they had in that system, I produced them. Mm. So they, you know, they didn't have no reason not to give me that money whenever. You know, as far as them deals, they gave me the money.
I want to ask one more question about an older group. What happened to Illegal? I used to love that first single from Illegal with the Malik. I Get Busy. I Get Busy.
Yeah. But they broke up. Dallas Austin had the Rowdy Records. It lasted for a small period of time. Don't forget, once that whole thing where one of them went with Death Row and one of them went with here, it never lasted.
Oh, so that was never your group like that?
No, it was Lisa Left Eye gave me that group.
Really?
And
how the hell Left Eye found Illegal? Because that was big for us because Malik was from South Carolina.
Yes.
In Hollyhill.
She was the whole thing.
He's like, I'm trying to remember all this old
No. The whole thing, listen. Dallas had a group and there's Lisa, they was living with Lisa. Mm-hmm. So they called me Uncle Erick. Mm-hmm. So next thing you know, we became a family, you know.
So that was a group Lisa was working with, or
no?
Dallas was working with them.
Dallas was too, but I ended up living with Lisa.
Yeah.
In a Ligo, in a hotel, you know, for a little bit.
Why was you living with Lisa?
Because that's what that was the means. I really didn't have. They didn't know I didn't have nothing. Mm-hmm. But
that was your girl.
It was a little moment at the time. That was what we was doing. Mm-hmm. You know.
Erick, you lived a good life, man.
No, it wasn't that. I know recently I heard Too Short say it on another station, like, yo, you know Erick was with Left Eye? I'm like, sure, why would you say that? I go, why would you put that out there? Mm-hmm. You know, but again, the people in Atlanta, it's small in Georgia.
Yeah.
So again, it was what it was at the time.
It was an open secret.
You know? Yeah, exactly, right.
Do you still feel like you need to keep your life a secret? Because I mean, everybody's telling their stories now and making money from them and documenting their history.
You're such a quiet person.
I just, again, at the end of the day, this is a situation where I don't know. This is where I've always been, but but believe me, this culture, I bleed for it.
Right.
People need to hear it.
I bleed for that, for your conversation on black men, black people. Right. I feel that. When I'm watching NBC the other day, they was like, yeah, but the blacks are doing good now, and the Puerto Ricans, they doing good too. I'm like, yo, look how it sounds.
Right.
Yeah.
It don't even come off the tongue right. Like, you know, the way that it sounds, the way that they talk, like, you know, well, they doing better. Who are we?
Like it's not us, all of us.
Yeah, who are we?
So this is how
people.
So if we're doing this to ourselves, there's no way that they're going to be able to fix their conversation if this is what we're doing to ourselves. And this is what I deal with a little bit. So doing music. So Nina Simone said we are obligated as a people to say something in your platform if you can about something that's going on. So, you know, like when Jay made 444, that was the biggest thing because any one of us small people can do it, but when he said it, it made a difference. Mm-hmm. So we need more people who have a bigger voice, you know, a bigger platform to be able to, like y'all do, to say something. So that's what that what gets me with certain people who are not able to, you getting that money, you rich, that individual is making you who you are. You can't tell that person one good thing.
All right. Do you feel like it was a conspiracy of sorts that kind of shifted that positive message narrative? Because the East Coast seemed to always be on that with the Public Enemies and the
De La Soul,
KRS-One. I mean, KRS-One, like Rakim, like those guys were socially conscious.
Yep.
Do you think the West Coast shifted that?
even Busta.
I feel like the gangster rap shifted that.
We all was here positive, and you're right. This was the style they was doing, but it shouldn't have influenced us like that. Well, we hip hop was something that it taught us a lot, and it helped a lot of us. But I can't really say if that's. I hope that wasn't it. I hope that wasn't able to influence our brain. So we was like, okay, well, this is what this is, and it made us do a whole 360 because we did have people saying, come on, we had fun too, but not everything, somebody said something and we still danced,
Yeah, no more dancing now, not too much.
Do you remember the shift in New York hip hop? Do you remember when it changed, at least to you, for the worse?
Again, everything's a business, man. Like I said, I'm gonna keep it real. Again, because once the South came and Master P, and then Cash Money, and then Lil Jon, and then as you see now,
It was over.
it's over. We can catch it. Even though we was big as far as New York, there's more South radio stations than it is North stations.
Right.
How we gonna win? Once they catch it and now they hot, forget about it. It'll be over.
Don't you think New York held on to an era for too long though? Meaning that when all of that was happening, nobody was letting New York grow. They were still trying to bring it back. Let's bring it back to the boom bap of the '90s instead of just letting it grow to whatever it was gonna grow into.
Charlamagne, you asking the dopest questions. I can't really. This is again, man. Whatever that influence started from. Again, the Cash Money thing happened from '97 on. Like after. Even though you still had Murder Inc. coming and you still had
Rough Riders.
Rough Riders coming, Jay-Z was still here, Crazy. We still had, whatever. But again, they still was finding their way through the radio stations of here, and they never let go. I heard Ludacris say one time too. He says, "We have it." This was about 10 years ago, and we never letting it go. That means we're not going to sit here and have arguments. So if we do fight, we're going to make up. Because we see what fighting does. Fighting doesn't do anything. Fighting just makes you New Yorkers. If there's a king, we coming after him. Nobody's going to be on top. So they see that. They watch the blueprint. Well, that don't work. Don't get no money, and people are fighting. It doesn't work. It don't last. So we would not put ourselves in that predicament.
Seen the blueprint.
You never felt like you had to chase a certain type of sound, though, because I feel like even on this new album, it still got your sound to it, but it doesn't feel like it's trying to sound like anything else.
I don't have to make that music if it's already being made. I don't have to follow that. I don't know why people do that. You don't got to follow that to be whatever. I had an increment of it might get heard, but not this success. That one's the Ninth Wonders and again the High Techs and everybody, my producer colleagues posting for me. I didn't ask them to do that.
Yeah.
Not the right album of the year, or the right sentences, or the Michael Rappaports or anybody of these people. I didn't ask for that. All I did was make a record that I felt that I'm gonna go back. How they go get their people, I'm gonna go back and get my people. But I went back and got anybody who answered the phone.
You got some great people out here too.
Shaq.
So well, Shaq was. That was business.
Raekwon and Nori, I like that.
No, but but AZ, Styles P, everybody that was I felt that wasn't making any records, so or wasn't because everybody don't know about these algorithms. See, I got my own streaming company called Squad Stream. I put my songs come through my own streaming network.
Really?
So it's on every platform, but I own my link. So I was able to get around a couple of my boys in the corner over there, and then figure this whole thing out on algorithms, on how this work. So once we find out how it worked, we're like, oh, this is what we gotta do. This is whatever. So I started signing I signed half of Queens. I signed Royal Flush, Nature, Alley Vegas, Tragedy, Cassidy, Fred the Godson, Cheeks, everybody come through my company because nobody knows about the streaming. So they sitting there with catalog that's not linked, that they not making money from.
So it tells you how to up your streaming, or
I show them all of it.
Okay, so it tracks your streaming. It shows
Tracks
you how
it,
to
show them
increase your streaming.
where they hot at, where they not, and how it works with the algorithm and the streaming, and how they works across these 121 platforms. It's 121 platforms of streaming companies.
Wow.
So the big ones are, Spotify, Amazon, Tidal, the whole nine, that makes money. Tidal bring the most money in. Spotify is one that's the cheapest, maybe $3,000 on 1 million streams. So you start looking at all these things and you put this together for people. These people don't know.
Right.
Ghostface uploaded my thing of me talking one day. Even the big ones don't know. So I'm telling them, this is how the streaming thing works.
How much do you make off your streaming service if you sell, let's say, stream 1 million?
About 9,000.
Really?
That's good.
So I'm still over than Amazon, I'm still over than that, whatever. And then Envy, you can call me. Not me per se, but you can't call Spotify and them.
Right.
You can call me. So that's why, and then when they turn up, when that month come up, it's a check waiting for you. So these people are looking at the situations. You're still going across the same platforms. It's just like your link is owned by you now. So it being owned by one of them that you're not getting the amount of money from. Imagine your record is across 121 platforms. You know how much money Drake got? Like it ain't just the three it's 121 of them.
How'd you come up with that?
No, that's how many platforms are out.
No, I mean, how'd you come up with the whole
What's
idea
your platform?
of
Your streaming
having your
service?
Oh yeah. This is just again, my boy in the corner. He just, I'm like, yo, who you think you are? Spotify? He was just filling me with this situation. Like, you can do it yourself. I'm like, man, we can't do this ourselves, man. This ain't gonna work, man. Whatever. But once he started showing me it, I started seeing it. I'm like, yo, you right. Everybody just can. All they doing is. You know why Empire is the $1 billion sleeper label? They upload, they turn nobody down.
Right.
So yeah, I'm gonna have $1 billion. I got everybody here.
So that's the trick. The trick is they make you think that you have to be on one of these streaming services to get your music on these platforms, but you can have your own streaming service.
You can have your own service.
Wow.
But you don't have to. My record still goes to Amazon and Tidal. Matter of fact, when I came out, I was #2 behind Beyonce on Tidal.
Is it profitable?
What you mean?
Is it profitable to have your own streaming service?
Of course.
They just told you.
Because you own it.
You own it. You make way more money than other
You don't
services.
have to worry about that.
Did you ever squash your beef with Wendy Williams? Did y'all ever squash that? Because Charlamagne just squashed his beef with. I'm just curious if you ever.
She said 5 years ago to Redman was close. She said that Erick's a friend of the room on the station when she was there when she was on the station.
Okay.
So I never really talked to her, but matter of fact, we did. I saw her in the parking garage with her husband years ago with Redman.
Her ex-wife. Yes.
Her ex-husband.
Did you speak?
Y'all made up, but you still going.
I
never spoke to her.
I don't fuck with her.
So you
I
saw
don't
her in the
fuck with
parking
her.
lot. That must have been awkward. Did you?
Yeah, it was kind of awkward because again, man.
She called you a gay rapper for years.
Listen, it never messed up my nothing as far as me. My colleagues never believed the whole nine, but it say if it did,
Right.
but she don't know that she was doing that to people. You know what I'm saying? But I could have really outed you like on some like, yo, you was here giving me.
You kind of did.
You
kinda
did on
said-
Vlad TV. though.
You know when you
put on a train
but not like that
took her
though.
to Brentwood.
No. Yo, but listen, but it took me mad years though. Like
Okay.
but that's
Yeah, you were quiet for a
2010,
while.
Like
Yeah.
that's almost 20-something
I'm
years.
not gonna
I kept
lie, because
quiet.
I did used to think like, oh, okay, Erick Sermon's a gay rapper. Because
Damn,
of Wendy.
me.
I really did
Right.
think that though. I mean, I didn't know.
And
You
then
would.
they said you jumped out the window.
That was another
Because you
situation.
was
That
there
was
with a
another
guy,
situation.
and they ran down on you.
Nah.
No, it.
That was another
promise you,
situation. That was a couple
story.
years later.
Yeah. Listen, man. This is
Yeah, then we wasn't gonna ask.
When people talk about you made it, but I thought that all of it was going to be thrown out the window because it was
Thrown out the window. You funny.
because it was nothing there to collaborate. So I
Right.
figured that
There were no real stories
people
of somebody.
can't make
yeah.
no thing because again, if I'm out the window, then there's no ambulance, no pictures, there's no nothing. I don't. whoever it is, I figure that I'm seeing something. Where's the people that to collaborate these stories?
So
So you never jumped out the window?
Nah.
Now, you know what's crazy? I was in South Carolina at the time, so I just heard the story of Erick jumping out the window. I'm like, damn, what was he trying to escape from? That's what I
they
thought.
said the story was he was knocking off a chick and the dude came
Yeah.
over.
That's what I heard.
And
Yeah, I
he
heard
had to
that
get out of Dodge and jump out the window.
You know what?
That's a real story.
Some of that is
Yeah, that's a real story.
too. But as far as that other part of that wasn't true.
So you never jumped out the window?
Nah.
But you got out of Dodge.
I got to Dodge. Exactly. Yeah.
Oh, what a life.
So you and Wendy good, basically.
I never talked to her.
Yeah.
I never said nothing to her, nothing like that.
Was she scorned because y'all used to deal with each
I
other?
have no idea. It wasn't like that. Come on, stop it.
Because you put it back
Okay,
on the
Erick.
train.
She's single now, E.
For your gum. There you go.
She got a bachelorette pad.
He said, oof. You don't know what his situation is.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Will you stop putting me against that?
What? No, he
Stop
might
it.
be in a relationship.
So now let's talk about this new project. New project's out now. Tell people how they can stream it. What do they need to
Yeah,
go
it's
to?
on all platforms. But I prefer you go to Squad Streaming, but it's on all platforms. Let's. I got to get back to a couple of more things though.
Yeah, let's go back.
Let's do it.
Let me.
You got some notes?
Oh, he's
you
pulling
this
out
first.
some notes.
You got some notes?
The album sounds good because we were listening to it in
I
here.
gotta show you this
Uh-oh.
because I didn't come prepared with y'all things for y'all this time, which is kind of messed up though. But I have them though.
What's that?
Okay, the Death Rugs again. I know whatever. But
Oh, I love those.
I did the Breakfast Club.
Hard.
And
Dope.
see?
What is this?
You got to shout out Fox too, whoever
Oh,
Fox
yeah.
is.
Oh, that's what I. Okay.
Don't be showing us on the phone. Why you ain't bring them?
You know what?
He showed us a picture.
He
of
was
something.
coming from that way.
Did he send that one? He sent that one, didn't he? You sent that one.
But again,
He said what?
I want people to know that, again, I never had said the launch, but now the launch is good. Now the www.deathrugs.com, you can go order whatever you want to. I did every celebrity in the game of carpet. They have it. If you look at the DITC studios, you see that the big L is, the vocal booth is him in
So
carpet.
you can customize it too.
Yeah, everything.
Okay, I know
But,
what I
but I
want.
did everybody. I don't care who you name, and they got my rug in their house, apartment, or whatever. They got one. And now we go in public because before I wasn't know I was going to be able to take all that at one time to be able to say, okay, well, how am I? Because don't forget, 8,000 rugs at $200 is a $1.6 million. I want to put that, but this is how, I'm going to give y'all all the package of Wu-Tang, Gangstar, EPMD, Naughty. This was one more. Redman. It's a
Don't
package.
bullshit us now,
No,
E.
no.
Yeah, I need
Please.
that.
I
Now you
need
got
all
the
that.
package. And then when you see it and you get it's crazy how you lay it. Listen, it's 6 years. Everybody thought it was cute until it got cute. People thought, again, that was cute, Erick. No, this ain't cute. This is a business. This is, now I'm able to let the world, get the rug too.
Okay.
It's certain things we're never going to outgrow. You know what I'm saying?
This is hip hop for the culture.
Yeah.
Nobody wanted to help me or be. But this was the thing about people saying, let's get together, let's stick together, let's let's help each other. That's all bull crap. Everybody that's spitting that, I ain't gonna call no names, but they all spitting that. I opened 2 buildings in Long Island, and when I did that, I went and got Rockwilder, Ty Fife, and I put all of us together, and now we making music in Long Island. But I did that. I went back and got them rappers who wasn't eating. I did that.
Shout to Ty. Shout to Rottweiler.
Do you feel like you got what you deserved out of the game, E?
This is what I'm doing now. I think that moving forward, I think that the empathy got to come. Leo Cohen, he owes. So when I went to YouTube and they gave me a product manager, they didn't give that to nobody. They gave it to me because I asked.
Oh, you got a gig up there.
Product, that means you owe. It's
Okay.
empathy. They don't have to give it to you, but if you ask, then they hear.
Yeah.
Because at one time, how'd you get here?
Yeah.
How you get to be president of this?
Calling Erick to say, Erick, come make beats for such and such.
It's just I'm just saying, but the culture did this.
Yeah.
So anybody who's in here that that got there from that, hey, how you doing? I need a favor. Empathy, you owe.
That's how it should be. Because
Yeah,
I mean,
it should
really,
be, yeah.
really nobody owes you anything, but that's how it should be.
And that's what I'm trying to say about you. Right? I don't need you, but can you?
Yeah,
or
yeah.
I'm asking them the questions. Leo, turn my algorithms up at YouTube.
You're not supposed to say that.
But this is what I'm but I'm saying I can because not everybody can say that you was there at Def Jam. I was there for 10 years.
Yeah.
And that's a good position to be in now, because earlier you weren't the type of person to ask for.
I never asked for nothing.
Anything.
But I don't need it though, Yee.
Right. You
I'm
don't
just
need
telling
it,
the
but-
fact since you there.
Right.
And empathy, I got to put that word again. You know, Mitch's empathy. Hello, okay, now what can you do for me? You know, I'm asking you, can you help me? That's it.
What's the relationship now like with Parrish, with Scratch, with everybody, with EPMD?
Yeah, like I said before, we all, I was the last one to turn 50. So I watched Jamie Foxx, I watched Snoop, I watched Will Smith, I watched everybody, Parrish, Michael Bivins, everybody turn. I'm the last one to turn. So I felt that once I get to that milestone of half a century, this is my new life. Even though I was already head towards no drama, everybody gone, whatever, and I got kids. You know, I got 13. My boy gonna be 14 on the 26th. Football, basketball, fiend, whatever, but ratchet. When I mean ratchet, every one of them songs that's out, he know every word loud, cursing and everything through the room, down the hall. I can hear him. But then no Vaseline to come on, you know, and then P Rock CL Smooth will come on, Camp Low will come on. So I'm in the mix of him learning both. Luckily, the playlist is playing the 90s too.
Right.
But with
And I'm sure he grew up on a lot of that with you.
With these kids, my 21-year-old is graduating college, and my 18-year-old is graduating high school.
Wow.
So this is inside here. So I deal with these dynamics of these boys and this thing too. So I don't got no time for none of that out there. So if they not on what I'm on, then I don't mess with them. Friends or no friends.
There you go.
When last time you talked to Paris?
I went to Johannesburg. We just came back from Africa.
They perform together.
I was in
They're on the
Johannesburg.
road, Yeah.
At the biggest rap festival in Africa. It was phenomenal.
Who else was on there?
This was us.
Is it strictly business now, or is it a friendship?
But-
Nah, but this has been a lot. We've been rocking for a lot of years.
Right.
Now. People just don't. Envy no. We just.
But is it? Because sometimes we rock because it's business, we get
yeah.
money.
It's more of
making
of
dollars.
that. It's more of. But again, it's only 4 shows a year. It got to come up to be worth it for me.
Right.
You know, I don't want to put myself in that predicament, even though we got our clothes in Nordstrom's, you know, our sneakers in Foot Locker. We got a new skateboard sneaker coming out too.
What's the clothes?
The van. The EPMD's Empower is in Nordstrom's.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, we appreciate you for joining us.
Oh yeah,
man.
one more thing.
Who owns the EPMD logo?
Me and Paris does.
Okay.
The Track Lib company. You know, cause I gotta remember y'all had Ray J in here and you was doing all that. I was waiting for this. Let me get my Track Lib is I hooked up with the guys from Sweden who was next to Spotify, and we got a Track Lib company. A company called Track Lib where you can clear a sample online in 5 minutes.
Really?
We got 80,000 samples in there. By July, we have 200,000 samples in there. And J. Cole sampled Middle Child from Track Lib. Paid $500 from it.
Really?
500?
Right. So everybody go on to Track Lib, every producer, because we already got the stock selectors, everybody, whatever. Go on Track Lib, and you can sample from Track Lib, and you can get from $5 to $500 to $25 to whatever. You can get stems, everything. We have right now 80,000 samples. It'd be 200,000 samples, whatever. And J. Cole just sampled Miller Child from there. I've been having it for 2 years now, and now it's going to be a thing because I heard Logic saying he was tired of clearing samples, you know, paying. But right now you can afford it. And I got some of the dopest samples in there that, you know, you can afford. It's affordable samples.
So you don't need a lawyer to do it anymore.
You can clear it online.
Go right online.
You go on TrackLib, www.tracklib.com, go online, whatever, and you can go to 79 to 85, 1968 to 73. You can do it. And you got the genres, rock, pop, country, jazz, Jamaican, Indian, whatever. I'll give you a whole category of stuff to sample from too. It's crazy.
You got all the cheat codes, E.
Now this is I'm answering your question. You silent from the back for a minute until you figure this thing out, and then you move forward with what you're moving forward with.
And you share the information with your people.
I have no choice because only when I die, only I go to the grave.
Right.
Nobody else comes with me. I tell people all the time, at the end of the day, that money, that house you got, that car you drive, that fan bought that.
All right.
So if you don't respect where all it came from, you only less than 1% people who famous. You have to understand what this is. So in the meantime, while I do wake up, it's like, yo, I woke up. Yo, what we doing? You know, because I don't want to wake up every day and don't do nothing, do the same. I want to do something different every single day. And then one more thing too, the Dynamic Duo album coming soon, which I took 24 rap groups of our era and I made records on them.
So like Jaden Styles,
I did
Ghost and Ray,
everybody.
Nas and AZ,
Black Star, Helter Skelter, CNN, Cypress Hill,
Salt and Pepper.
Run DMC. So when I
please say you got having P
I was
before
thinking,
P
please, you
died.
got some old mob.
Oh, yo, no, this Mob D, yo, do you tell, yo, you're not even gonna, Havoc left the room, because I played it to him, I played it for him first.
And it's
like
original
afterwards.
Prodigy? It's Prodigy?
Original Prodigy.
Woo!
And Ty Fife did the beat. It's phenomenal.
When is that coming out?
This coming out, hopefully by June, hopefully.
Yeah.
CNN, I said Black Star, Helter Skelter, MOP,
MOP,
of course,
wow.
Naughty,
Smith and Wesson.
Red and Meth.
No down
Smith
south
and Wesson.
duos?
No
Other
Red and
people's.
Meth.
What? I got 8-Ball MJG.
Okay.
Of course, you can't get.
Outkast.
I talked to Andre on the phone. Of course, you can't do that.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't do Tribal Quest.
No Snoop and Dre.
No, Dog Pound though.
Okay.
Oh yeah,
Wow.
Dad's a corrupt baby.
That's it.
Okay. Well, thank you, E.
Yeah, don't come up here. You don't got to come up
Yeah,
here
you
every
got a lot
9
going
years.
on.
You can come up.
No, I know. You
It's
know
gotta
what?
be like a series.
Again,
E calls me every 9 years.
you
Let's say
know
that
too. Again, it's a fact. Like y'all live in the mix. Envy know where I'm at. That place is. I'm all the way in 50, 58. It took me 3 hours to get here.
Damn.
They live at 6. He got here 9.
Oh my God.
So again, but I appreciate that. But I really want to be a part of whatever you trying to do to talk to these kids.
Absolutely.
Put me down with it.
Okay.
Word.
Because again, I talk to Banner every day.
That's my guy.
And on his podcast that he's doing, he says, Eric, why not talk? They killing us anyway, so why should I be afraid of somebody killing me from talking? Right. So he made mad sense. So again, at the end of the day, I'm just trying to tell people though too, like, yo, we here to have convo with, but don't speak that we together stuff and you ain't really doing it. That's the part that really gets me. People who got way more money than me, way more money than me and Banner got. Banner was like, yo, Eric, you know, I'm driving this Jeep now, you know? Because now he got a staff, and now he got production companies in the whole nine. But this is because nobody was helping. No, everybody was saying this and that. They wasn't helping. So now you got Shaquille O'Neal hooking up with Ron Artest, which is whatever. They giving people money.
Word. He got an
Millions of
investment
dollars.
group. Yeah.
Yep.
Listen, man, information is liberation.
Absolutely. Thank you, E Double. Erick Sermon, ladies and
Yes,
gentlemen.
sir.
Yeah, this is. I want y'all to know this has been. I was waiting for this moment for years. I saw Keith Murray up here with Charlamagne. They was having. I'm like, how did Murray get to the? That's my boy, but
He called.
Yeah, same thing with Redman.
I text you
and
too.
those
No, you
guys.
didn't. Bernard hit me.
Yeah, but I you in DM.
I mean, we not
You
drink
got
champs.
my number. You
Listen,
can
we
text
not
me.
drink champs, but we celebrate our legends here too.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? We
You
celebrate
know
the
what?
legends of the culture.
But nobody understood that because y'all got so many big people. So nobody thought that this was going to be a platform for people like us. Even though, listen, don't.
We wouldn't be here without people like y'all.
But understand what I'm saying. No matter what, the perception. You got to know what the perception is.
We fans.
That's not true, 'cause,
We
yeah, I was gonna say, we're fans
A
first.
week ago.
We grew up on
Stop lying. Winers was up here?
Yes. About 2 weeks
You
ago.
didn't have
3 weeks
Wanders
ago.
in the house
Yes,
of-
all 4 members.
all four of them,
brothers
all
were here.
soul for real.
Yes.
Okay, I got to go now. That's that right there shows that. Now, y'all did that?
Right. It's the Breakfast Club. It's Erick Sermon.
Yes.